And I hope to use this for future use too. So if you're just watching this now, this video is specific to how to create basic artwork in Illustrator for the purpose of laser engraving and cutting. Okay. So when you create artwork in Illustrator, the first thing you need is a document. So I already have one here in the video, but I'm going to create a new one. You're going to change your units here. Okay, so once again, watching this video, this is a good resource. You're going to switch to most likely inches, and then you're going to specify how big the material is that you're actually going to cut. So I have a 2 foot by 3 foot piece of cardboard. That's what I'm putting into the actual document size. That doesn't mean I'm actually using all 3 by 2 feet of it, but that's going to give me the rectangular border to which I can put my artwork within. Okay, so when I say okay, that is the 2 foot by 3 foot rectangle that I can't put more artwork outside of, or else I've run out of material, right? You can use 100% of this material, and then of course you can zoom by Control plus and Control minus on the keyboard. The plus and minuses are to the left of the backspace key, and we're gonna just make some artwork now, okay? So this is what I'm gonna attempt to recreate, using a polygon tool, using a square tool, using a circle tool, and using text tools. And then we're going to cut this out in the laser, which isn't going to be in the video because I don't have a video camera right now. Okay? So, how did I make a rectangle? Well, over here on the left, you have a variety of tools. If you hold down the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th tool down, hold it down with your mouse, you'll get a variety of tools. There's the rectangle. This is our ellipse or circle tool, and this is our polygon tool. Those are the only tools we're going to use in this video, minus the text tool, okay? So first, let's do a rectangle. And remember, we set it to inches. So when you set it to inches and you single click, you get a window that says how big is the rectangle that you want going to be. You can literally type it in. This is where I'm trying to say this is a CAD system. So I can say I want 4.5 inches wide by 3 inches tall. Say okay. That is guaranteed to be that measurement, okay? If you hit Control R, you'll turn on your rulers. So now you can see the rulers up top, and the black arrow allows you to move stuff around, okay? The black arrow is also turned on by pressing the letter V on the keyboard, and then you once again click on the objects. They turn with little handles on them. You can put your arrow to the corner of it and you get these little bendy arrows, and then you can click and drag and rotate things, okay? And then of course Control Z is undo. So it's very similar to what you already understand. So I'm going to zoom in. This is a giant piece of cardboard. That's all I want to basically use out of the entire piece of cardboard. So if you can think about this, I can make a design and then I can multiply that and scale it up, and then I can print like 20 of those at one shot, or cut them out at one shot. So once again, seeing how much space you have is really important against what you actually need, okay? So I'm going to kind of zoom in by Control plusing, or if you hold Alt on your keyboard and then use your scroll wheel, you can zoom in and out. If you hold Control and scroll, you'll zoom left and right. If you hold Shift and scroll, you'll go up and down, okay? So like, I personally like to hold Alt and scroll to zoom in. It's just like SolidWorks, okay? So hold down Alt for zooming, Control for panning, and Shift for vertical up and down, okay? While you're using the scroll wheel. It'll make life easier for you. So there's my rectangle. I'm gonna show you polygon. So when you hold this down, you go down to polygon, right? And then you click once. It says, how many sides do you want and what's the radius of this? So what is the circle that can fit inside your polygon? Obviously, if I do 6 or 8, or right, you'll see even lengths. So I'm going to keep it to 6, and as you can see, right? So now I'm going to click on the black circle. You'll see that there's a bounding box around the actual object it created, and you can drag it wherever you want. And as you can see, take notice, right now in the video, there's really hyper-colored green lines that, if you're sitting in front of the classroom right now live, you probably can see it. If you're back where Chris is sitting, most likely you're not Chris, you're famous because now you're eternally immortalized in my video now. But anyway, if you're watching this on the computer screen, you probably see the green lines. Those are called smart guides. Smart guides are very, very helpful. So, under View, make sure smart guides are turned on, because when you're clicking and dragging, it shows you alignments, centers, and snaps and stuff like that. That's critical, okay? And then also snap to point. So those two things should be on, okay? And once again, you don't have to memorize this if you're sitting in class right now. This is going into the video as long as my audio is being recorded, okay? So I have that. That's simple as that, right? We can also do a star. Let's make things interesting. Do a star, click and release. How many points do you want on the star? So like, let's say you're making a congratulations certificate, right? Maybe I need 18. And then radius 1. This is like the inside circle, and radius 2 is the outside where the points will be. So I could say I want 0.5 for the inside of my star, and then I'm going to do 0.75 for the tips of my star. There's going to be 18 points when I say okay. There it is. Congratulations, right? Boom. It's not just a regular star, it's an 18-point star. Press V on the keyboard or click the black arrow. You can then move it around, okay? So at this point, I want you to take notice of a couple areas of the screen. On the upper top left corner, when you select an object, you have two squares. One with like a different color with a white square in the middle, and then one to the left which is a solid color. So when you click on this, you can see that it's fill. All right? You see the colors changing? If you click the slash, that means there's nothing. It's like absence of anything. That's what you want. You don't want these to be filled with anything, so you don't want colors. You want the slash in the fill, and then you want the outside stroke to be anything you want. Remember, the laser doesn't see color, so if it's a yellow line or a blue line or a green line, it doesn't honestly matter at this point. It will in the laser software. We'll talk about that a different day. So just choose a stroke. Thickness doesn't matter. Okay, the laser, I could get this wrong, but most likely the laser is just going to follow the path. But I'd have to verify that just in case. So I'm just going to leave it to stroke of 1. Try not to modify the stroke. We're just cutting shapes out at this point. And now I'm going to do the rectangle tool just to show you. Once again, click and release. How big of a rectangle? You just type that in and you'll create it. So if you put 2 even numbers, you'll get a square, right? So if I do 4 and 4, I got a 4-inch square, right? I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to abstain. So let's talk about text. I'm going to type in some text here. Mr. Truss is, I don't know. There we go, because I know I'm great. So I'm going to bump this up in size, and I'm also going to change the font, because I want you to understand, you can change. I probably wouldn't recommend engraving that font, but you can pretty much engrave or cut any font. The more complicated your font is, the more work the laser is going to have to do. So you can just click here and kind of go up and down and press your arrow on your keyboard, and you can just sit here and view the fonts. We don't have font book in the computers here, which is what you'd see in Mac, and you can kind of sit here and shop. All right? So anyway, let's do this one. This one looks pretty ornate, right? If you think about size, this is 4 inches wide, so this is pretty tiny, right? So if I hold shift and drag this, I can make it bigger, all right? Which is going to make the laser more likely to be able to do this, right? Now, computer science-y people, you're going to remember what this is. Text typed on a computer is binary key codes that are translated to what they call an ASCII chart, and then the characters show up. Those match to a typeface, and those typefaces are basically like almost like artwork that are called upon inside your font library of your computer. All right, so this is not artwork. Mr. Truss is great at the moment is not artwork. It is binary information that's being cross-referenced to a font library that's in the computer. We need that to be artwork and not ASCII characters. So what we have to do is convert it to outlines. We're going to tell Illustrator to draw that so that the Illustrator artwork can be given to the laser. So what we're going to do is with the text highlighted, you're going to go to Type, and you're going to go down to Create Outlines or Control-Shift-O, and watch what happens to my text when I click it. It's not going to be a typed line where it looks almost like a penmanship line, you're going to see anchors and handles all over my letters. So when I click this, as you can see, I can't edit this text anymore. It is flat out artwork, and I can literally take the white arrow, and modify the shapes of it if I want it, right? So the artwork itself was text. It looks like text at the moment, but it's simple shapes that I can deform. So the cool part is with the white arrow, you can actually click on things that are created and independently modify artwork, right? Obviously, I don't want to do that, so I'm going to undo it. But the laser can cut this out now. So at this point, I'm kind of ready to cut this out. I'm going to give it one more rectangle, and this time I'm just going to click and drag. So you can click and drag your stars and your circles and your ellipses, but you're going to be left to your hand accuracy, and you're never going to be able to drag to an exact 4-inch by 6-inch rectangle. So if you're just artistically creating things, clicking and dragging is fine. But if you're actually trying to get real measurements, clicking and releasing and typing in values is more accurate, okay? But at this point, here's what we're going to do. Let's visualize this. I'm going to cut this Mr. Truss's grate entirely straight out. There's going to be holes in the cardboard where those letters are. We're going to then cut this out. So there's going to be a hole cut where the star is. And then we're going to burn or laser engrave, not cut out, the polygon and then this internal rectangle. And then we are going to cut the entire thing out with the outward rectangle. Okay? So we're going to do some engraving and some cutting on the laser. And it's not going to take too much time to do. What I'll probably do to demonstrate that is call up each group to show you on the computer at the laser about how I program the laser. And then once all 4 or 5 groups see this, we'll go over to the laser and cut it out. Okay? So at this point, we're just going to do save as, and it's an Illustrator file. You leave it. You don't have to give it any fancy file format or anything like that. You typically would save this on your G drive and then put it on a flash drive and walk over to the computer. You need it on a flash drive, okay? So at this point, I'm just going to save it on my desktop. We'll call it Laser Demo. I already have a Laser Demo. Okay, we'll call it Laser Demo 2. Enter. All right, save. That's it. So this artwork's prepared. I want to just check to make sure, this doesn't have a empty fill. We want to make sure it's no fill. So I'm going to click on this one, same deal, no fill. This one, no fill. I'll just go back and save. We're done, okay? So as far as this video is concerned, it's gone on for 13 minutes and 7 seconds. So we're going to stop this and continue with a different video.